Liverpool, without being at their very best by some distance at the weekend, let's be honest, Southampton had a hand in all three of the goals that they conceded. Liverpool won and increased their lead on Manchester City. They have put themselves in a fabulous position right now.
All right, Geoff, I want to transition over to Liverpool, who are currently sitting 8 points at the clear at the top of the table. I was feeling great this weekend. Yep. The come from behind 3-2 win at Southampton. I'm feeling good. And then this morning I wake up and I hear some comments from Mo Salah about his future with the club. In fact, we have that sound. Let's take a listen real quick.
I'm going to talk about your future. What's the latest you can tell us on that?
Well, we almost in December. I haven't received any offer to stay yet in the club, so probably I'm more out than in. So.
Would you like to stay though?
Well, I've been in the club for many years. No club like this, but in the end, it's not in my hands. So, as I said before, it's December, so I haven't received anything yet about my future. So.
It feels like the fans would love you to stay, though, given the reaction today.
I love the fans. The fans love me, but in the end, it's not in my hand; it's the fans' hand. So, yeah, let's wait and see.
How do you feel about the fact there hasn't been an offer? Then does that disappoint you?
Of course, yeah.
And so what? Have you spoken to the club about why there hasn't been an offer?
Well, I'm not gonna go and say I'm not gonna retire soon. So I'm just playing I'm focused in the season, and I'm trying to win the Premier League or hopefully the Champions League as well. But yeah, it's a disappointed, but we'll see.
Ooh, a lot to unpack there. Geoff Shreeves, what can we read into those comments from Mo?
Well, first of all, let's have context, Susanna, because do you remember we had similar to this after the Manchester United game earlier on in the season, where he chose to bring it up with reporters. And I said at the time, this is somebody who very, very rarely engages directly with the media. So for him to raise it and then go back to it a second time in the conversation was highly unusual. Clearly, it hasn't moved on since then. So it's a really interesting game that FSG are playing right now. And also, you saw the pictures there. There's a very short walk from out of that stadium onto the bus. And it's like an open mixed media zone. So he didn't have to go. He wasn't obliged to go across those reporters. He chose to walk across the reporters because he had something he wanted to get off of his chest. Now, that would have been a deliberate ploy on his part. And bear in mind the numbers he's posting right now. He's arguably, I think he's actually on track to have the best form, the best period of his entire Liverpool career. And look what Arne Slot said after the game, another 2 goals. He said of Mo Salah, we know we can trust him when things are difficult. He is so important. He's so integral to Liverpool. You just wonder what is actually happening here. And as he said, there's been no negotiations at all, according to Mo Salah. Nothing. Now, that is a very, very interesting scenario with regard to how does that help Liverpool if they want to keep him? Or is it telling us they want to keep him but only on their terms? Or do they not want to? Absolutely intriguing situation. So difficult to read, but what is as plain as day, the Mo Salah is frustrated and he is unhappy that he hasn't heard.
Geoff, this isn't the first time he's gone to the media to stir something up. In fact, I want to piggyback on what you've said.
I've lost you.
Okay, I can wait for you. So you want me to sing until you get the earpiece back in?
Don't take it personally. It does happen with others, Alexis. I'm sorry about that.
As soon as I said something smart, your earpiece falls off.
Well, it's not often.
It's not often. That's why. Then your earpiece be flying off every day.
Sorry, buddy.
Opta said that Mohamed Salah is worth 17 points this season, the most of any player in the Premier League. That if he wasn't there, Chelsea would be in first, and Liverpool would be in 13th. But he's also 32 years old, and Liverpool has said time and time again that they want to have a smart approach about their players. They want to get young players. They want to get players with high XG. They don't necessarily want to overpay for players that have performed in the past. They want to pay for players that are going to perform in the future. What do you do if you're Liverpool in this situation? Because the media is going to do exactly what we're doing now, which is continue to shine a light that the best player you have on your squad is not getting a contract extension or a new contract. What do you do if you're Liverpool?
100% is you have to work out, and also as well, when players get to a certain age, and I'm not saying this would happen with Mo Salah, it's that last big payday, that last big contract, and we see a drop-off, a dramatic drop-off, like a cliff edge in their performances once they get that contract. So right now, you could argue, is he playing for a contract? His character and the numbers he has consistently produced would suggest otherwise. He's just doing what he always does, which is ultra-professional and turns in fantastic performances and delivers unbelievable goods. And Liverpool, as you say, that's the question mark they have. Perhaps what they're weighing up, Alexis, is the length of contract that they're thinking about giving him. Where do they think it fits? Because it may well be, okay, clearly, physically and mentally, he still has a huge amount to give this club. But what do we tie ourselves to? Because the past doesn't help them in terms of winning things this season. As I said to you, it's an intriguing scenario. And don't forget, he's not the only one.
You can't cower now if you're Liverpool, because then that sends a signal to every player. All you have to do is complain in the media and we'll give you a new contract.
Well, again, he was fairly coy. He didn't actually complain. He said he was asked a question. Of course, as soon as Mo Salah appears in front of you, this is the question to ask. He said he was disappointed not to have heard, but he's concentrating on trying to win the Premier League and trying to win the Champions League.
He said, I guess I'm more out than in.
Correct.
Usually not a good sign, regardless of when you say that.
Yes, but that is his take on the fact that he hasn't heard. And if you think about it logically, as his contract runs down, he's closer to leaving than he is to staying. So it's in some ways it's a factual answer. But listen, Alexis, I agree with you. The signals are loud and clear. What is happening? I want to know. It may well be that the club are trying to take some of the heat out and also weaken his negotiating position. His answer, though, is the numbers he's posting, which strengthens his position. But he'll be another year older in the summer. So that's what they got to take into account as well. And Virgil van Dijk will be watching this scenario unfold as well.
Exactly.
As will Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That was my next question, Geoff. Like, what does this kind of signal for the guys like a Virgil and Trent, whose contracts are also up, and how they are now going to approach this situation with the club?
I think it's different with Trent because of his age. I think it's very, very different with him. So it's more about the senior players because, of course, as well, you can't just have an entirely young team. You do need some experience in there as well. I think this will boil down to, it'll be a conversation between the sporting directors, the club, and the coach. And so, okay, what do we think? Realistically, can we expect to maintain the same level of performance? Can they make the same contribution for another year, say? Or, of course, every player is going to want a longer contract as possible because it gives them security. So I think it will be individual. And I wouldn't necessarily read into whatever happens with one player happens exactly the same with another player. It depends on the individual and also, if you like, that their whole approach, their demeanour, their attitude to the scenario.
This is killing Suze.
But Suze, hang on. Let's look at the most important thing for you as a Liverpool fan. Liverpool, without being at their very best by some distance at the weekend, let's be honest, Southampton had a hand in all three of the goals that they conceded. Liverpool won and increased their lead on Manchester City. They have put themselves in a fabulous position right now. I think only the 11 times that a team has had a lead of 8 points at this stage of the season, only twice have they not gone on to be champions. So it's not a guarantee.
But it has happened.
So what you're saying is you're guaranteeing Liverpool will win the Prem this year.
No.
In the same segment, you said Pep's fired.
And also, to your original question, what are they going to do? What they can't afford to do is upset these players as they run into this. They cannot afford to let what's happening affect a title or a Champions League campaign.
You don't want it to be a distraction, especially when you're in this position. The thing is,
you've seen the banner. You've seen the banner on the cop.
Yep.
He draws his bow.
Yep.
Now give Mo his dough.
Also, Geoff, this man, he treats his body like a temple, and I'm thinking, come on now, he definitely has at least another 2 seasons.
A new hairline.
Come on. Hairline. The hairline of the year.
I know.
Bro. He looks like a Dominican dude now, bro.
Exactly.
The hairline crazy.
Give the man what he wants. I don't want to know a Liverpool world without
From Egyptian
Mo Salah.
king to Dominican prince.
Anyway. Geoff, thank you so much, as always, for the fantastic intel. We'll catch up with you later in the week.
My pleasure. All I can say is right now, this is shaping up to be one of the best Premier League seasons ever.
It is
Arsenal and
exciting.
Chelsea winning. Honestly, we're going to have so much fun.